Hi there, welcome back to Lean and Define. This is Mozzie, NASM certified personal trainer. Okay, so uh, the idea today is does does doing cardio kill your muscular gains? Is if you're trying to build muscle, even just some muscle, which is like kind of along the lines of what the goals of this channel are, should you be avoiding doing cardio? So um, my answer to that is no, especially because this channel is called Lean and Define. So the idea is like killing, uh, maximizing muscle growth is not the goal. I think as long as you're doing a decent resistance training program, maybe a couple times a week, you should be able to at the least maintain muscle, if not gain some muscle, while at the same time losing body fat. I'd say do your cardio on a regular basis to burn the calories. Cardio is really important for burning calories. I would say, obviously, you want a calorie deficit. In the past, I recommended like a 2 to 500 calorie deficit. So I would say you can calculate your maintenance calories. So let's say you use an online calculator, you have 2,000 calories as your maintenance, and so your range would be 1,500 to 1,800 calories a day um, consumed to lose weight in that case. So one of the really important reasons to do cardio is it's a great way to burn a lot of calories. So I wouldn't be worried about it. Just do your regular resistance training, and that, but do the cardio to burn the calories. It's really important for burning calories. Try to do it on a pretty regular basis. You can build up gradually. Maybe start with once or twice a week and gradually build it up. Another important reason to do cardio that I don't hear talked about as much is that you do lose water weight when you do cardio. So maybe let's say you do cardio at nighttime, and then the next day you might actually look better and leaner because you've lost some water. So that's kind of like this more immediate advantage that you can get from doing cardio. Another important reason to do cardio is that it comes with. There's a lot of good reasons to do it actually. So one is I think you can just get really pumped up sometimes, and especially during the weight loss process, it's good to do something where you feel pumped up like that. It's good to increase your blood circulation, and I covered this in a separate video about cardio and talking about cardio and the good reasons to do cardio. So that's another thing. I think it's really important, like when people. I think cardio is really important when people are trying to lose weight because sometimes someone who's not a 3,500 uh, calorie, somebody who's not a big bodybuilder who needs like 3,500 calories a day to maintain their weight, but rather maybe only needs 2,000 or 2,500 calories a day to maintain their weight. For that person, doing cardio is great because it can take the pressure off of eating too much less. So if let's say they want to do that 2 to 500 calorie a day deficit that I recommend, they don't have to cut their calories by that much, or they can even just eat their maintenance calories. So let's say to maintain their weight, they need 2,000 calories a day, so they can just eat their 2,000 calories and then burn the rest from cardio. So then let's say they burn 300 calories through cardio. One day that could put them to a 300 calorie deficit. So without having to eat a really stringent diet, they're able to still lose that weight. So that's another good reason to do cardio. Is to just make it easier to get into a calorie deficit without having to cut your calories by too much, and being able to still like eat a decent diet and everything. And a lot of times it's like things from the I feel like lifting community like leak into regular, like with regular people in the gym, like that advice ends up getting passed on. So sometimes like somebody whose goal is not to look like a bodybuilder but just to look good and be lean and things like that, they end up talking to some bodybuilder at the gym, and the bodybuilder tells them not to do cardio, And so, or they go on the wrong kind of website, and that gives them advice to not do cardio. So sometimes, or the wrong YouTube fitness channel or whatever. So they're told not to do cardio. So a lot of times I feel like advice is given, but the thing is, people's goals are different, and not every goal has like the same, should be given the same advice. So I also think, and you know, that was like one of the things that motivated me with this channel in the first place, was like the idea that I just didn't feel like I saw a lot of advice on YouTube aimed at like regular people or people who just wanted to look good or wanted or were not looking to be bodybuilders. And I still think there's people like that out there, definitely. So even though maybe sometimes it doesn't seem like it. Now, with all that said, cardio does have some effect on muscularity. I just don't think for the goals kind of outlined for this channel that that's something that most people should be worried about, because the goal is more to build a little bit of muscle, but mostly focus on being lean. And if that's the goal, if that's what somebody wants, then I wouldn't be too worried about the cardio aspect, and I would just say keep doing cardio to lose the body fat, and just make sure to be consistent on doing your resistance training. And I think, you know, and I think that's the thing. I mean, trends change, and right now I think bodybuilding culture has kind of taken over. I've noticed with men and women, it's become very popular. I guess I'm from a different era where actually, like, I'm going to reveal my age a little bit, but in the 2000s is when I was like in college. And so back then, I felt like most guys wanted to look like, a lot of guys that I knew wanted to look like surfers or swimmers or things like that. But now I think the culture's changed, and most guys I talk to just seem to want to bulk up or be as big as they can be. So I think there's been a little bit of a shift, actually a big shift that's happened over time. But I do think ultimately the goal of being lean and defined does have differences in terms of what the approach is. And so I do think the cardio aspect is really important. With that said, this is Mozzie, NASM certified personal trainer. You're lean and defined. Take care and stay active.